Hey guys, in today's video, I will analyze the power levels of the 4th Hokage, Minato Namikaze, the ninja who showed us that to be a legend, it was not necessary to belong to any renowned clan. So let's start with Minato as a child. What we know from the story is that Minato graduated from the academy at the age of 10, but even if he was a Genin, his power level was not exactly that of a Genin, since from the beginning his intellect was so high that to date he is the ninja with the best score in the written exam for promotion at Jonin, thus him being admired by all of his generation, except for Kushina. But all this changed the day Kushina was kidnapped by 3 ninjas from the Hidden Cloud village. Kushina left a trail of her beautiful red hair on the road that was only noticed by the splendid Genin Minato. And without any difficulty, he defeated the 3 ninjas, and after that, Kushina stopped seeing Minato as a skinny effeminate and began to see him with admiration. And because of the fact that Minato was able to beat those 3, I will place Minato in the upper middle part of the Chunin rank.
I thought I was done for.
When Minato graduated to Chunin, he teamed up with 2 other ninjas, and his sensei was the legendary Sannin Jiraiya, which after seeing that he was a genius, told him the prophecy of the great Toad Sage about the boy who would bring peace to the ninja world. And not only that, Jiraiya taught him the summoning jutsu, leading him to make contract with the toads of Mount Miyaboku, which drastically increased his power, since we have already seen that the chief toad, Gamabunta, is capable of fighting against the power of a Bijou. And thanks to this and the other jutsu that Jiraiya was able to teach him over the next 3 years, Minato was able to participate in the Chunin exams, and was promoted. But also with the above indicated, his power was far beyond the Chunin range, so personally, I place him in the middle part of the Jonin range. The story tells that Minato spent 3 years practicing the technique that would be one of his most lethal weapons in combat, and that it would be transmitted from generation to generation by the blonde protagonist of this story, the Rasengan, a technique that Jiraiya later learned. Minato had already perfected the technique that would make him famous throughout the ninja world, the technique created by the 2nd Hokage, the Flying Thunder God technique, the space-time jutsu that allowed him to teleport from one place to another through sills in a thousandth of a second, a technique for which he was nicknamed the Yellow Flash of the Leaf, and with which he achieved a worldwide reputation, to such an extent that shinobi from other villages had retreat orders if he was found on the battlefield. By that time, Minato had already been promoted to Jonin. He was becoming more powerful and more skilled with the use of the Flying Raijin, and his abilities grew to such an extent that it was decided that he could be the sensei of other ninjas, and thus the Minato team was created, formed by Rin Nohara, Obito Uchiha, and Kakashi Hanaki, who made history during the 3rd Great Ninja War, a war in which Minato faced an army of 1,000 ninjas from the Rock Village. In the same war, Minato fought one of his most important battles highlighted in history, facing at the same time A, who in the future would be the 4th Hokage, and Killer B. A battle in which Minato showed not only that he was very fast due to the mastery of the Flying Raijin, but at the last moment, by having a high confidence and control of the situation, he outwitted the extreme speed of A, who until then was considered the fastest person in the ninja world.
He counted me at my top speed.
But the most amazing thing is, not that Minato managed to avoid it without any problem, the point is that he managed it without having any special ability that increases or enhances his reflexes, since moves like these have been evaded by expert users of the Sharingan, and by Naruto in Sage Mode when he faced the 3rd Hokage during the 4th Ninja War. Because of his great deeds in classifying himself as the fastest ninja of all, I put this Minato in the highest part of the Sannin rank.
Anyway, I have my own responsibilities, so...
Go fly! Now which kunai?
I cannot fail now.
It should be noted that Minato would probably have already visited Mount Miyaboku by this time, but this time to undergo special training to learn and master the famous Sage Mode, which we saw used during the 4th Great Ninja War. There is confusion regarding the effectiveness of Minato's Sage Mode, since he himself confessed that he had not used it in combat because he did not control it perfectly, but he did not refer to the control of natural energy. Since Minato's Sage Mode was perfect in itself, and this is evident in the pattern and orange pigment of his eyes, and that he did not have the appearance of a toad like Jiraiya, but because he does not enter the battle as fast as Naruto using the Sage Mode, I place him in the lower middle part of the Kage rank. A few years passed and Minato at 24 years old became the legendary 4th Hokage. being an expert using the Flying Raijin Jutsu in combination with the Rasengan, able to beat Obito Uchiha and outwit the speed of the Kamui, and able to teleport Kurama's Bijudama completely and without any difficulty. Being catalogued since then as the hero who saved Konoha from the attack of the Nine-Tailed Fox, at that time, his base state, I placed Minato at the top of the Kage rank. But there is a power-up of this state that places Minato on the next scale. This is the Shiki Fujin, or the Death Demon Consuming Seal, which allows him to seal the soul of the opponent, but in turn will depend on the power of the ninja who used it. Since while Sarutobi barely took Orochimaru's arms after being pierced by the Kusanagi sword, Minato, being pierced by a complete claw of the Kyuubi, managed to divide it in two, sealing half of its power in itself, this being the yin part and the other half the yang part, in his son Naruto, thus giving his life to save Konoha. And that's why using the Shiki Fujin, I put it in the upper middle part of the legend rank.
Seal! My body is going numb. Can't believe how heavy it is.
Almost 17 years after his death, Minato was resurrected with the other Kage by Orochimaru during the 4th Great Ninja War. And I personally believe that after being resurrected, he was nerfed, since it seems to me that with all his power, he could have done much more. But hey, being immortal and having practically unlimited chakra reserves in his base state, I put Minato in the lower part of the legend rank, as with his arrival, he was able to fully teleport a Bijudama from the Ten-Tails without any difficulty, increasing his power in the mid-low part of the legend rank when he uses his Sage Mode. But Minato's true power-up in the 4th Great Ninja War, he showed us after taking a simple breath, showing us that because he was the Jinchuriki of the Yin part of the Kyuubi, he was able to access the powerful Kurama Chakra Mode. For many, it is an abuse of his ability, and for others, a plot hole. The fact that from one moment to another, he is able to access Kurama mode that easily. But let's remember that Minato died after having used the Shiki Fujin, and everyone who dies or is sealed by this technique is condemned to spend an eternity facing said opponent over and over again, which means two things. In an indefinite moment in that incessant fight against the Kyuubi during those 17 years that Minato was sealed, he was able to dominate the power of Kurama, and poor Hiruzen, who spent 5 years enduring punches from the 1st and 2nd Hokage. Due to the enormous chakra, strength, and speed that Kurama mode gives Minato, I place him in the upper middle part of the legend rank, reaching maximum power when he accesses Tailed Beast mode, with which in my opinion, he's in the top of the legend rank. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. Make sure to leave in the comments if you like the new style of videos. And if you like this video, make sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button and that post notification bell to be notified every time we upload. And we'll see you in another video. Good.